Now live on the Red Pill Diaries, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for giving us another hour of your time. We're going to get straight to it because we don't have much time with one of my favorite journalists, and he's also, I would have to say, a human rights activist, my guy, Dimitri Lascaris, the host of one of the most popular and I think one of the best podcasts out there, Reason to Resist. How's it going today, my friend?
Thank you, my friend. It's really good to be back and speaking with you in these difficult times. Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
no problem. Dimitri, let's jump right into it. What is actually going on? Pierce through the fog of war and tell me what is going on in this war between the hegemon and the victim.
Well, let me qualify what I'm about to say by acknowledging the difficulty of trying to sort all of that out, Rashid. It's a really challenging informational environment, uh, not just because we are dealing with the typical fog of war and the competing claims and the psyops and so forth, which is always a feature of war, but now we have this additional element of artificial intelligence and video circulating that has been completely fabricated or modified in some material way, so it becomes very misleading. So it's I can't say with complete certainty anything about this war, other than that. I mean, I think I can say with at least a high degree of certainty, it's going very badly for the United States and Israel. That's not to say that Iran isn't suffering. Iran is suffering immensely, particularly the civilian population. But the all indications are that this thing is going off the rails for a variety of reasons. First of all, the Trump regime is desperate for a quick conflict to be resolved within a matter of days, and I think it's quite clear that it was assuming or hoping that the killing of the supreme leader Ali Khamenei would precipitate an uprising within Iran, and that within a matter of days, the U.S. and Israel would have achieved its goals, which is to say, the removal of a government that was resisting U.S. hegemony, and its replacement with something.
1 second to what took place in the Indian Ocean. How could India not be aware of these events that took place? Because they invited the U.S. And the U.S. pulled out. They invited Iran. They signed a basing agreement with the United States, where the United States has a right to replenish and rearm its Indian bases and vice versa. And then the they did not even warn the Iranians that something may be possible, or even condemn the act. The prime minister has not even condemned the act. And remember that he was in Israel right before the all of this stuff was going on. So, what is India in all of this?
Well, I can't, because I don't have the military expertise to do it. I can't say with a high confidence um, that the Indians must have known about this. They apparently the vessel was destroyed with a submarine, a torpedo from a submarine, and as far as I know, in my limited military understanding, it would have been possible for that attack to occur without the Indian military knowing in advance that it was going to happen.
India capitulated, and it looks like that they wanted plausible deniability. But won't
Yeah.
this affect them strategically, especially when we're talking about the Chabahar port in Iran?
Hmm. Yeah. These waivers that you mentioned looks like a reward, right? It looks like a payoff for India going sending its president to the or the prime minister to the Knesset, and then potentially in some manner involving itself in this treacherous attack upon the Iranian naval vessel. So the
Damage on the occupied Palestine.
is Iran
Yes.
doing that? Yeah, I think that absolutely. So they rolled out last night, the Iranians, this behemoth of a missile called the Khorramshahr 4,
Mhm.
which apparently travels in the outside the atmosphere at a speed of Mach 16 and within the atmosphere, terribly off the rails for Israel. And I think we're far away from seeing the worst possible outcomes for the genocidal entity.
I was listening to George Galloway, and he said that with all of the CIA bases struck and all of the air bases struck, the United States is lying about the death toll, about 4 or 5 people dying. He said he would put he's going to go out on a limb and say upwards of close to 1,000 U.S. Intelligence and military people were killed and injured.
I don't think that's an unrealistic number. I can't say whether it's accurate or not. I will agree with George wholeheartedly. I don't believe for one second these ridiculous, casualty counts that were being given themselves a hard question about whether they can defend these bases if the Iranian government stays in power and maintains, its military capabilities. I think that they have been shown to be extraordinarily vulnerable in this war to a degree that we've never seen before. So there is a prospect that some of these.
Um, Dimitri, thank you so much for joining me on the platform. I know that time is of the essence for you. You fit me into this when you didn't have to. You always do it for me. Thank you so much. I'll send you the video. We'll communicate later. Be safe, man, and be blessed.
You too, brother, and keep up the fantastic work. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Everybody, listen. Hit the like button and share, and go. Come back in about 3 or 4 minutes. We're gonna have Professor E. Michael Jones on the platform. Salute to you, everybody. And as I go out, I have to say this very quickly. As always, do right by others because it's the right thing to do, not because of some material gain or some accolades, but because it's the right, the humane, and the godly thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching you, remember that God Almighty is watching you. As my late, great, and beautiful mother would always say, God sits high on the throne of power, but he looks low at the actions of man. Know that I love each and every one of you who loves truth, but know that the love that I have for you will always pale in comparison to the love that God has for you. Until we next speak again, which will be in a few minutes, stay strong, stay true, but above all things, remember to stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. Thank you, everybody.